Hi Divine Rebels, it's Bohemia with Bohemian Stars and Ocean Heart readings, and we are doing a fun one today. We are going to do a people's first impressions of you, the things that they find attractive. All right, what is attracting or bringing being labeled as attraction qualities that you possess or at least the way others perceive them. Okay, so yes, that's a disclaimer that this is about how others perceive you, and it makes no sense to be getting crazy with your readers when a reading is about someone's perception, because the cards don't lie. And I see people, like, not on my channel, thank goodness, because I would have to tell you something, but but on other people's channels, and they'll just be popping off on them and like so mad. And I'm like, this is literally a reading about how the other person thinks about you or their perception of something, like it's in the title, and people will be so mad. So we ain't here about that. We know that we have to take things with a grain of salt. People's perception can change. This is the first thought, and others can really see us in ways that we are, surprising to us, or we might be like, why do people always say that? So this is really, astrologically, it would be the equivalent of your first house, or your rising sign, your ascendant. Okay, things that are going on in your first house, because that's our first impression with others. When we don't know people, that's how we tend to react or respond, or it can be the energy that others pick up and see in us. I did bring my little trident. Someone had commented about a trident, and I had almost used this as like a little pointer in that video. And since something told me today, get the trident out so you can show them, because I didn't last time. So there is the trident. I might use it. I might not point around at things. I talk with my hands a lot. So we're going to get into it. The first one is Opalite. And the second here, let me give you a closer look. So this is Opalite. This is Aventurine. We have Amethyst Slice. Looking like a slice. That's what we have to say now. Looking like a slice of amethyst. And then we have the honey calcite over here. Tumbled. Beautiful. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was a little blurred. Yeah, go ahead and choose which one you want. You can also do it by people. That's fine. If you're like, I wonder what this person's first impression of me was, what that person was. We got to get Joe and Josiah both in there. Go ahead, boo, do your thing. And we're going to go ahead and get started, okay? All the links will be down below for the connection with the decks and everything. For option number 1, we have the Sun. We have the 3 of Pentacles. We have the 2 of Wands reversed. The Knight of Swords. The 6 of Pentacles reversed. Anniversary partnerships. Free Spirit reverse. Linger by the Cranberries is the song, and those links will be down below as well. Slave, bear with me, and Queen. Okay, so how this person sees you, the energy that we have here for you. Okay, so people see you, first and foremost, you seem familiar to people. What they're attracted about towards you the first time is there's something familiar. You might have aspects of your look that are like popularized, so it might look like maybe you have like a Abercrombie and Finch look or something like that. So people might be like, did I talk to you before? Do I know you? Like, you remind them of somebody, of a girl that they once knew, all right? Or of a person that they once knew. And so there's something, because this song is about you have me around your finger, do you have to let it linger? And it's about like all the songs, actually a lot of them popped out at first, and so I was like, okay, we're only getting one song, not 10. And every single song, I have like over 200 songs in my little song index card deck, and every single one of them was about like an established relationship and like familiarity between the two. And then you got linger, so people feel like they have a hankering for you when they first see you, when there is that attraction quality, and there's that energy of like yeah, of just having known them before or something. So you have the Sun card. So yeah, it's a very a very, I would say that your energy is something that a lot of people relate to, or is a energy that's seen a lot. I feel like a lot of you have blonde hair. You know what I mean? So there's like a similar kind of quality where people are like, there's a relatability to your look, a splendid radiance. Now it's funny though, because at the same time, people perceive you as a hard ass because they feel like you could have them wrapped around your finger. Like they feel like you are somebody like the free spirits reverse, and we have the slave card with the queen, and we have this knight of swords here with the six of pentacles. Like there's no reciprocity, so people feel like um that you could just like, you might like have that man eater quality, or that you would just be like the playboy, or just like, you know, kind of have ownership over people. Like, man, she dog walking her partner right there. Like, you know, like, do you have that, well, that's how people see you, and they're seeing it as attractive, but they feel like, man, you just have that quality that you walk in like a cat that ate the canary, and you know it, and you're gonna put that on display and show your rank, and that's just how you walk into the school, that's how you walk into the neighborhood or wherever. You know, it's a confidence that's there. It's not one that people would want to cross. People have the sense that you have this like steely energy underneath any kind of sunshiny aspect that you put on top of yourself. But yes, they have that feeling that you're not somebody who's going to wait around. Like, you're not going to sit here and be patient about things. People do see you as partnered a lot, like that you would have a partner, and that you could even be kind of like a trophy partner, or that you look for people who will complete that image. But they definitely see you as being like the dominant, and that the other person would be subservient. And they're okay with that. Like, they kind of, I'm thinking of the song Sweet Dreams, you know? Right? Who am I to disagree? Everybody's looking for something, you know, so they don't see you as somebody who likes to, like, you're not somebody who would tolerate people who have one foot in the door, one foot out the door, anything like that. You're not into, even though you yourself have this like, you can flip and have this like serious side come out, at the same time you don't tolerate that with others. You want to know that people are with you 100%. And like, this is immediate first impression, so people might, it's almost like Amanda Priestley, I think I've referenced her before, and or Miranda, right? Miranda Priestley, The Devil Wears Prada, um Meryl Streep, where she's just like has that energy, like she's cool, calm, collected, she's, you know, wearing everything you're supposed to be wearing and that kind of thing. But you know immediately when you met her, oh, you don't fucking cross her. Like, she has a line, she expects you to toe it, and she expects you either make me look good and contribute to this and play the role I want you to, or you bounce. So people see you as being very commanding that way, and that if they play their cards right, that you could you know, maybe they can get into some of that good grace and sunshine, but like, people kind of know their role. So you might be really surprised and be like, what? I thought I was coming off sunshiny. It's like, no, people see that underneath. I feel like some of you have Virgo, but you have like, you try to make it bubbly, and people are like, oh no, we still know that you rule with an iron fist. Like, we didn't miss that part. Yes, so I feel like people feel like you're at a good weight for yourself. You are somebody who is, they might feel like you are effortlessly kind of in shape. Like, you're not overly, you don't look like you overly have to kill yourself in the gym, but you don't look like you just don't, like, you laze around and do nothing, although you could. They feel like you must work out the right amount, or be kind of, you know, be balanced. You're in balance. People see you as balanced because you have the partnership. So they again, they might perceive you as being married, or that you, as long as your role is played, can fit in with others. Now let's look into look. Your hair's a big deal, definitely. We have Leo cards here. There's a lot of emphasis on hair. I do see some brunettes, but a lot of it is blonde. I feel like some of you even have crazy styles, like you have random parts shaved and different things. But it's like, it fits the look. It's still, somehow you get away with it even in like conventional settings, and other people are like, how are you pulling that off? Some of you have very long hair, I'm seeing. Maybe even have some dreads or braids. Others, it's like just huge. You just got huge hair. It's just everywhere. But your hair is something that people really notice. There could, and I am seeing all different kinds of hair here as well. The other thing that people notice your, I'm seeing the chest area a lot. So whatever that looks like for you, whether it's just like, man, you wear that t-shirt well, that screen print looks great, or you have a significant chest. Again, I think that people feel that you're very proportionate. You probably, maybe you walk chest out, some of you, because there's that confidence here with Capricorn and Leo cards. You just present yourself well, and it's something that people notice. People also see you as being flexible for some. It's weird. It's like you're rigid, but you're flexible. I don't know. Maybe kind of like ballerinas. You know how they're very poised and yet they're extremely flexible at the same time? Like you might have a grace to you that's like that. Like if you want to close down your body posture and just be like, you know, you can communicate like that with an eyebrow, with a look, by just making, not even looking at the person, like just making your body rigid. Like you can speak volumes. It's like it radiates, your energy radiates out of your body. At the same time, when you do want to like loose, I think it's just like, oh my God, like so captivating to people. Or when you're caught off guard, it's like that's the moments where people are like falling in love, because they're like, oh my gosh, this person's so graceful, and who knew that they could become so like, you know, just have this flow to you. I am seeing some Taurus and Aries energy as well as Gemini. Yes. Um I think that people see that their first impression and what they're attracted to is like you can give people shit, but you won't do it unduly. So most people, even if you're like really roasting someone, people are like, "Ha, well, you deserved it," like, you know, and their best friend's like, "Hey," so they feel like you do things in bounds, even though you go further and push it further than others will. They're like, "Well, you're kind of right though." So people also see you as being very business attire. So some of you, I do see a few that I don't know. It's kind of, there's two different stories. So there, I see some people that are very like artistic styling. So maybe that's your job. Like basically, your attire falls in line with what it is that you do, and you fit that image very well. If you are somebody who works in high business and you're in the banks and stuff, you look like that shit. Like your stuff is all imprinted leather, all that, like classy. There's a very high quality Capricorn Gemini kind of energy there. Like when Geminis really get money and they get real slick with it, or Virgos or Capricorns, there's that kind of vibe here. And then for those of you who your job is to be very creative, or you're like, you know, into textiles and fabric and stuff, like you do that as well. So you have this way of being dramatic, but being able to pull it off at the same time with just like your own flair. So in like other people wouldn't be able to wear what you wear, is what people think. And people are like, man, did like who helped you with your ensemble? Like that's it's not just an outfit. Even if you're somebody who like dresses like a rocker, they're just like, so did you have a stylist put that together? Because it like all kind of goes, even when it shouldn't, like it does. And it just, it's a look, right? You put out looks, you serve. um Yes, I feel like also you might be the kind of person where like kids and stuff like you, even if you don't like them back. Some of you do like kids and you'll warm up for that. Some of you no, not at all. And but you still like or as far as like you're not just gonna stop and talk to someone's kid at the bus or something, you know. And so people notice that. Like again, you have that feeling where people want to crack your exterior and get to know you a little bit. Um Yes, but yeah, there's this feeling of being well balanced. You might have a Libra rising because it's like I'm seeing a symmetry. People feel like you're very symmetrical in your features. You're balanced. Like everything is balanced in your look, your eyebrows, your cheekbones, like symmetrical face. Like there's just a lot of balance going on in this, and there's an artistic flair that's there. So yes, now you know why people react the way you do. I think overall it's a good impression as far as people definitely find you artistically pleasing. They might feel like you represent a certain genre of like classical art that you're like the prototype of or something. And they definitely would be submissive to you if you wanted to to own them, okay? If you wanted to just, you know, they would be your lapdog basically, and they see you as someone who could really take people to that place, right? Because you're just so captivating. Kind of like, you know, we hear about how these artists who were very top talented were brought to their knees by these little muses that they painted, who were of no station or whatever, but they're immortalized. I'm thinking of like the girl with the pearl earring or something, you know, immortalized in these paintings. So that's the vibe that you give people. Some of you do have some unique piercings and stuff as well. Yeah. All right, so that is how people first see you attraction wise, your attractive qualities that jump out at others as they walk by real quick or as they're first seeing you. Let me know what you think down below, and I will talk to you soon. Yay! Okay. Oops. I still have so many decks to sort out over here. Okay, we have Aventurine, number 2, for those of you who chose number 2. Let's see what we got. How do you first come off to people? We have the 3 of Wands, the 3 of Swords. Oh, that was reversed, actually, sorry. We have the Happy Home. We have the King of Wands reversed, the King of Cups reversed, and the decks will be linked down below. The 5 of Swords. We have Let You Love Me by Rita Ora. We have Close to Me by Ellie Goulding. There's supposed to be a U in her name right now. We have The Advocate. We have the Companion reversed. And then I took out, I kept getting these playing cards that I use. You can write your own attributes. I use them to represent like cosmic energy that we're channeling that's beyond like just the regular spectrum. You got 2 of them. I didn't even know they exist. And one of them I had set to the side. And then the third one, I was like, where did they all come from? So another pile got 1 too, which is number 3. So you might, some of you might have picked 2 and 3, but you got double. So we're going to talk about this. You got double like outside of this world energies that people pick up. You might have chosen number 3 in the was it the witchy read that we did. We have 7 of Pentacles. Oh wait, no we don't. Sorry, that's not yours, ignore that one, that was the next one. Okay, we're done. Not 7 of Pentacles. Erase. Okay, so these are your cards here. So you have like this energy where you could literally knock someone over. Like people who think that like literally celebrities, if you were, and I know this energy, like when I lived in Hollywood, you know, like the real Hollywood, come on now, we know it. If you're from LA, if you're from the Los Angeles County, from Hollywood, you understand, right? The real Hollywood, the back streets of it, right there, just right next to all the fancy stuff, and even on the fancy stuff, it can be real, it's real gritty, real grimy, like real, you know. And so but when you go to the Target right there, what is it, on La Brea, like you always run into famous people and they'll be interacting, like they'll be having the same problems. And I'm not going to shout out their name, but there was this person, he's on one of them not CIA, CSI kind of channels, shows, or NCIS, I can't remember which one, I'd have to look it up. But he was like kept trying to look right. I was in this when I was in college, and then his girlfriend was there and she was getting mad and glaring at me, and I was just like, what's going on? I'm like Pisces, you know, so what's going on? Like I'm not trying to, you know. And so it was this whole thing, right? And my friends were like, oh my gosh, and they had like a fight in Target, and they went to different checkouts, and my friend was just like tripping out, and I was like, I ain't even doing anything over here. So I feel like you guys have that kind of energy where it's like it doesn't matter what the station of the person is, like you bow them over, and then they're getting caught up because they're not, even when they're not trying to, they're just like, oh my god, like they're just staring at you or something. And so you might feel embarrassed, like maybe your boss is sitting there like, oh, or you know, people are gaping at you sometimes, and you're just like, what is going on? Like, can I just buy my groceries? Can I just pay my gas? And you're like, do they think I'm weird? You might not even know because they're acting so weird. But really, it's like you hit people, and then later, like they're thinking about you and are in their feels, and like there's no way you guys are ever going to communicate. It was way back in the day, but like you hang on their mind. So you could have strong water in your chart. You could have fire as well. I'm seeing air, water, and fire is what's coming up. So any of those signs, but you got it times 2. So spiritually, with you, not just your aura that you present directly, but also the energy you channel from other realms. You're way on the, you know, you're way out there in the universe, the things that you channel in, and that energy hits people in a way that you might not think. So now you have the song Let You Love Me by Rita Ora, and this song is about someone who you know, you can tell that they're sensitive and they want to connect, but then she self-sabotages and she goes out and parties, or she pulls away because she just can't let someone love her. So you put that vibe out to people, whether you realize it or not. We have the 3 of Swords reversed, that you put out the vibe that you're tender tender-hearted and really, really loving, and that you're like soulmate material, because we have happy home, but that you keep people at bay because you've been hurt, and people sense that, and people want to get close, and they know that you want to connect and get close, and that you could basically have your pick and choose from everybody, but that you choose to keep people at bay, even though you channel it towards like advocate work or being an activist and stuff. So people might see you like turn down somebody who's just like the dreamboat or whatever, because you just like can't handle that interaction of them, you know, running into them. But then they'll see you turn around and go talk to like a homeless person and give them food or money or something. So they're like, okay, you're not just shutting people down because you're being rude. Like, you are a loving, compassionate person, but at the same time you turn down opportunities to yourself. And so it's like this weird mix of energy that people see, and they like have affection for it. They definitely do. People see you as not having ego, even though you really are kind of on that next level. How people interpret you. Now we have close to me. So people know that when you get in a mood, you know, there's a little Aries energy here. She talks about like, you know, again, there's a wildness to you that people pick up, that when you want to kick into it, you can. Like, you can get to that point where like, you know what, yeah, I do look good tonight. You know what? Like, and this song is like, you know, everybody, she says, even though we both hate everybody, we're the ones they want to be like, and she doesn't want nobody, she doesn't want to be nobody without their body close to me. If I can't have you, then I don't want anybody close to me, or something like that. And she says, because I'm an animal, you're an animal like me. So you have this part of you that's wild and rough and rugged, that others, you know, you can be combative. You can check someone if they come to you incorrectly, okay? You can. And usually you don't do it to be mean. It's when people cross the line and they don't get the hint that you don't want to be interested. And even sometimes you might misplace it. Like, they're like, they know that you're having an issue letting people get close. And so that's why they're trying, again, not to just, you know, cross your boundaries and be rude, but because you have a wall up, at least how people perceive it. And you have a huge energy field that's like, it's almost like when people are trying to approach you, it's like this huge energy field that they have to get through, that like reduces them to like just this mortal man, you know, or just this mortal person in front of all of your energy. And you don't think of that. You're like, I'm just chilling at the bus stop, like post up, I'm just sitting in the mall. But to others, it's like a big thing. It's like a big thing. So this song, the people see you as being selective. They see you as handpicking who you want, and you know, they have to kind of earn their way to get closer to you. So yeah, a mix of being open and closed. Now you also have companion reverse, which says the shadow attributes: betrayal by misusing confidences, loss of personal identity. So that's why, like, people feel like you probably, like, you earned your stripes a bit, you know who you are now, and that you're not going to let people come in and betray you and hurt you. You know, they can see that. The good thing is you're still putting, yeah, the good thing is that you are still open to love, and people can sense that. You still have, you know, a big heart and are very tender-hearted. You're still open to making connections with others and wanting to have like a good world and a good life. And you are aware of your pitfalls. Like, when you have issues in communication or connecting with others, you're well aware of them. And like, you're trying, like in the song, she's like, I wish that I could let you, like, she's talking about all the things that she doesn't do wrong, and how, or that she doesn't do right, and how she should do them better, and things of that nature. So others have a good sense. They think that you have like a good moral compass, and they think that you have a good heart when it comes down to it, and that you're kind of worth the effort of trying to get to know and trying to send those signals out that they would like to get to know you. Yes, I do think that you're absolutely able to shut down and like nip it in the bud if you're not interested in somebody. You definitely are. But I think a lot of you do it actually more because you're not trying to mess with people's hearts, really. You are just like, okay, if I know this is a no for us, then I'm just gonna shut this down now and not even like take your number or flirt or whatever, because like, I already know what it is and it's not this. you know, and because you don't want to have dishonesty because you've suffered that before. Some of you go like, some of you do move like in your crew a lot, like you always have people around you. There's two parts to this. Either you always have people around you and you are like never alone, or you're always alone and people never see you with someone else. Like it's one or the other. And so that's just something that people notice if it's people who are like seeing you from a distance quite often, and like so it's just kind of constant first impressions and not getting to know you. That's just something that they see there. Some people also, they might have seen you like put a stop to a fight or de-escalate situations. I'm seeing that maybe if you're like at Starbucks and somebody's getting really rude, you'll find a way to like let the cashier know that it's like it's all good or whatever. I don't know, the cashier, if it's Starbucks, the cashier might be the one that started problems. All right, okay. But you guys know what I mean. You have a way of trying to like chill everybody out if a situation is getting too hype, and just you might be able to play it off real good and like, no, we're not here for this kind of thing. Or you might be the person who, like, if in the grocery store, if the person up before you gave a real hard time to the person at the register, then you'll try to like pick their spirits back up. So that like people see you doing little acts of kindness and having consideration, and they know that it comes from empathy, like that you've also been through things and that you're very empathetic with others, and that really translates to people. So they feel like, yeah, they feel like you're a good person to have on their team, like that you would have their back. So people, okay, so some of you definitely have piercings. I'm seeing multiple piercings. You might have like piercings in a row. So like I have like 3 in my nose right here, or you might like have 3 in your ear or something of that nature. Let's see, what else? I feel like people feel like you have strong arms and legs, so maybe that stands out to them. Maybe you just like, you know, they're on point. You got these really strong legs. You might have a kind of some kind of like walk that you do, that your legs are really just like snatching up that concrete. But people notice your limbs, and that is something that is attractive to others. I see a lot of like blues and greens around you, so those might be colors that really stand out to people. Some of you have your hair dyed that color, which obviously won't be for everyone, but those colors really stand out when you wear them to other people. Some of you, that you might have, your eye color might be, you know, between like a unique shade of like a blue green, or you might have hazel eyes that change a lot, or you might just like have that kind of fleck to them. You know, even people with brown eyes can sometimes their eyes go into like a green color or something. So you might have something like that. With your energy. I think people see you as having like this down to earth vibe. I also think that some of you are stoners, and people pick that up right away because from here that looks like some bud. If that's the case, people would be like, would they be the connect? Are they a plug? Should we ask? I had that happen on one time on the bus. We were in LA, and someone turned around. She was like, "Hey sis," she like, "You got some weed?" And I was just, it was like quiet, and I was not expecting it. I was in like little Pisces dreamland, listening to like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and like all with my heart-shaped sunglasses on. Okay, now it makes sense why she asked me. And I was like, "Dang, you really called me out?" She's like, "Because we could smell it." Somebody was like, "Man, they were dank on the bus," and like, and then finally we found out who it was. This guy got off with a paper bag, all obvious, and was kind of like, haha, but he got off the bus. But she was just like, she called me out in front of this whole bus, and I was like, I don't have it. And then you could tell people were thinking I was lying, that I was trying to be stingy. And she was like, yeah. I was like, why did you ask me? She said, because you got the pink hair. I just thought you would have it. I was like, really? So you guys can have that vibe where people are like, well, they're kind of alternative, they're kind of artsy, they're kind of, you know, activisty. I bet they, you know, so you might get some weird questions that people ask you because they think that you would be open-minded to certain things, or that you would know like random bits of culture or something like that. They're like, don't you know who started, you know, grunge or something? And you're like, what? So of course it would be pertaining to your look and the kind of the vibe that you have. People do see you as artistic. They might notice you with music. Some of you are always having headphones on and things like that, or you're always kind of singing to yourself or muttering to yourself. So like kind of sing-songy how you are. People see you as being very like musical and having a different communication style than others. So it's kind of like, I kind of don't understand what you're saying, but I like it. You can have a unique voice too, how your voice sounds, how your voice comes across to others, or how you use your speech patterns, or like the lilt to your voice is something that people really like connect with, or they remember about you, or they might even use it as a descriptive factor. You might have people tell you you have a nice voice or a soothing voice, or they might be like, ooh, you got a growly voice, I didn't expect that. um Let's see. Now it's funny because I see people that have full on beards, and then I see people that is like boom, like clean shave. So some of you might go between those extremes. You're either full on, it's like wax on, wax off. You're either full on beard or it's gone. And it can even be that way for like, facial hair, like eyebrows and stuff. You guys might go through the phase of like the bushy brows in, and you're rocking that bushy brow, and you got a bangs or a fringe if we're in the UK. You just got a lot going on, and then all of a sudden you're like boom, wax off. Like you're on the sleek eyebrows now. Maybe you shaved them off and drew them in, and you've taken off the falsies, and your bangs are grown out, and you're pulling them and slicking them back. So people notice a lot about like your facial hair and things of that nature, but they like it. So if you're someone who rocks the bushy brows, and you're like, man, should I get these taken care of now? They're like, no, like you're on trend, like keep rocking it, that's you. People notice that about you. You do have a sense of home about you, and I think I had touched on that before, but basically, one, y'all might carry food and stuff. Like, you guys might be the person that has the bag that has like tons of stuff in it. Like, you might have a backpack or your purse that's just like, they're like, man, they got Gatorade, and they got, like, you just have a ton of stuff, and people that are watching you are just like, what do they not have with them? You're like a Swiss Army knife of like life. So people just sense that you are very nurturing, that you would know good places to eat, like just things like that. So there's kind of like these weird impressions where you're like, why do people ask me these weird things? Or like they kind of, have this familiarity that they want to get to know me, or they're like, oh, we should be besties. Like I think you guys get that from people. Oh, look, it says a safe harbor. That's why. And you have happy homes. So that's really sweet. People feel like you are safe space for them. They feel like you would be compassionate and accepting of who they are. And some of it is because you might look a little alternative in some of these ways that we've said. And some of it is just that energy that they can tell that you're a sensitive person and a caring person. Now, I feel like most of you, well, I do see a few different hair colors. Mostly I'm seeing darker hair that has a wave or curl to it. But I am seeing people with wavy and curly hair. All the hair is wavy and curly on this. You could have some thick hair too. Some of you might have really thick hair. I am seeing some strawberry blondes and some platinum blondes as well. So, but that might not have been natural. I feel like most people in this group are natural medium to dark brunette. And yes, have waves and curls to it that makes your hair look thick, even if it isn't, because I know about that curly hair fam. Or you do have just really thick hair. Let's see. A lot of you come off as water signs, to be honest. Let's see what else is going on. It's so funny, but a lot of you might be the people that always have a drink in your hand. Like you always have coffee, you always have water. People are just like, you thirsty? But like actually thirsty. Okay. I feel like your lips are things that people notice. Definitely. People definitely notice your lips, your mouth. Again, they're very just captivated by your mouth, your voice, the sounds you make, your way of communication, and just like you might have people that they're just like staring in your mouth when you're talking. I see people watching you like eat. They may think how you drink or how you eat is very cute. I'm very drawn to that. I feel like a lot of you wear very flowy clothing. Like I don't see a lot of tight clothing in this group. Number one was a bit more form-fitting in some of the expressions, but I see very more flowing, relaxed, like you want to be comfortable even if you're being stylish. I see also that a lot of you might mix prints or textiles or textures, like with the kind of clothes that you wear. I'm seeing a lot of that actually. And so that could be a thing. I also think a lot of you have surprise tattoos, and even with the piercings, you might like low key have them, and then when people like you turn and they see them, they're like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even notice that. Or it's like you rock it so well that it's a part of you, and then when people actually think about it, they're like, oh wow, like maybe they don't even usually like tattoos or piercings or something, but they're like so into you and they just like love the whole look of you and like how you rock yourself, and then they're like, oh wow, you do have an entire sleeve on your arm, don't you? So I feel like you do that for people. You kind of break people's stereotypes about like kind of that animal thing we were talking about. Like you come in and you do things that they would judge other people for doing, but then they like it, and so they're just like, like, okay, that's strange. Like I usually, but like you look good. I think you look amazing. I think like you're doing what other people are trying to achieve when they try to do it, and I don't like when that person does it and it just falls short. But when you do it, like it's on point, it's impeccable. So I feel like you have that, and you might hear that from a lot of people that they're like, I don't usually, I'm not usually attracted to people that do XYZ, but I'm attracted to you. I mean, you have to watch that because sometimes people, that's shade that they're throwing. But I think that maybe you might really just be the first person that they've dated of a certain style or scene, because you're just doing you. You know what I mean? You're really doing you, and it comes off very authentically. People also see you as somebody who travels a lot. So you might have that's what it is. So some of you have a very multicultural look. You could definitely be mixed race. I do see like a lot of mixed race energy here. You can mix a lot of things from different cultures, different, like we talked about, patterns and styles and textiles and things like that, or different eras. Maybe you're really good at mixing things from, sorry, I'm talking with my hands. I just realized I'm shaking the camera. You might be good at mixing things from different eras and things of that nature. I feel like you can easily like slip in something about your spirituality with something that's on trend, and it's not overdoing it. It's not gaudy. It's not too much. You might be like the person who can actually like rock baggy sweaters and ponchos and like, long prairie skirts or, things like that. And it doesn't look bad on you. It just flows. It fits you. Um, I feel like you're walking a lot too. I just keep feeling walking. So I don't know if you don't always drive as much as maybe like number one, I think they drive everywhere or are chauffeured around or something. I feel like you guys maybe you go out hiking, you go out jogging, walking. You might try to do as much physical transportation yourself, and be like, okay, well, let's park a little ways away and then walk. Or you just, I don't know, I feel like mostly when people see you, you're in motion of some sort, and so that might be a thing too. You might always be passing them by, so they're just like, where are you going? Like you got that little spark to you where people are just like, what are you up to now? Like people always feel like you're on a mission. Like what are they up to? You look determined. So you could have an Aries rising like that. You might be forward leaning when you walk, like you're just on a mission. Yes, and some of you do have like cuts or scars that people notice, and it could be on your hand. Look, I have this ugly burn on my finger right now, um, but she has a cut on her hand. So you guys might have something like that. We talked about Aries rising. Quite often, Aries risings have scars on their face or like some kind of mark, and other Aries placements can do that. So some of you have things like that that are in your chart. Scorpio risings can have that, sometimes Gemini placements as well. So I see some of that going on. And some of you around your siblings a lot. I'm seeing that your siblings are cousins. So those of you that are in a crew all the time, and that's why people can't approach you. Yeah, so that is what I'm seeing, what attracts, people's first impressions of you, what attracts them to you. They like your lips, they like that you are compassionate though you've been through a lot, and that you're a little hard to work for, but they see it as being worth it because they value you as being a person who is a safe harbor and a sense of home. They see you as someone who's compassionate to others and who's open-minded, and you're not going to judge them on their life path. But that you can throw down if you need to. And someone, I think overall people just feel like they kind of want to, the people who are attracted to you have that sense where they want to like be worthy of you. They want to be worthy of you, and you have this huge celestial, beyond the celestial planetary configuration energy that you can pull in So you got, just be aware of that power that you have. That's why sometimes people just are acting a fool around you. Not to excuse anyone's behavior, right? They need to come correct. But you do have that. You do have that. You're like magnetic to people. So, all right. So that is your reading. Let me know how that resonates with you, and I will talk to you soon. Comment down below. Okay. My hand fell asleep when I was holding it, so now I'm like, trying to pick these up and it's not working. Okay, for those of you, who chose number 3. Wait, was this number 3? I don't think this was number 3. Number 3 was the Amethyst, wasn't it? Sorry, I've been doing this lately. I think number 3 is the Amethyst Slice. You guys, let me see. All right, for those of you that chose number 3, I've recorded this a few times because I'm having technical difficulties, but we'll get through. This is a fun one. I love number 3s. So, for those of you who chose the Amethyst Slice, your song is King's Dead by J-Rock, Kendrick Lamar, and Future. And this is like such a cohesive reading. Like, a lot of you, like, you go hard. Like, people are like, man, like, you rep your set. You don't really mess with people that you don't know like that. You're just like, why are you talking to me? A lot of you really rep where you're from. Like, if you're from Queens, you're repping Queens. Like, you're from Compton, you're repping Compton. Like, you are where you're from. Because in this song, King's Dead, they say, miss me with that bullshit. You're not really wild. You're a tourist. Right? And they say things like that, and they're just talking about their life and how they do. So, I feel like that with you guys. Like, I feel like you're very dedicated to your scene or where you're from, or like if people see you at work, like you take care of your business, and those that you're connected to, you're very community family based. You've paid a lot of attention, and it's just like yeah, no tourists, no newcomers. You're just not. That's not your vibe. It's not your jam. We have here, it's like almost like the energy of like a bouncer. Just like some of you might work in security, or you might get that question. You're like, why is everyone always asking me these security questions, or like acting like I'm like they need my permission? I don't work here. But you have the energy. We even have the Exorcist as your card here. It's reversed. Fear of facing your own demons. So a lot of you have like a tough look. You're gonna be like Capricorn rising, Scorpio rising, Aries rising, but with something that makes it not the spunky bright side of your Aries rising, but the martial side. You could have Pluto, Mars, or Saturn in your first house. We're dealing with a lot with first house energies, although some of you might have those on your 10th as well. So people, yeah, it's almost like that energy of someone posted up on their corner in their hood, and they're taking care of the community. They're doing their things, but then you come through and they're like, who are you? You don't even go here. You have that kind of, you don't need to sit with us, this ain't your business. And so you guys might be like that. There is some Taurus energy. It's fire and earth energy here. We have air energy as well, Aquarius and Gemini. So you guys could really have that where, I know a lot of earth moons are like that sometimes, or like earth rising signs, when they're out and about, they're just like, why are you talking to me? Like, you are not in my life. I don't know you. I don't want to talk to strangers. So people can see that energy with you. Like, that's what they pick up. But you're so mysterious. You also got one of the universal cards. So yeah, people can't really read your aura. I feel like your energy seems dark to others. Maybe you even do like energy work on your aura to like cloak yourself, or to not pick up a lot of attention, or to make your moves in silence, but there's that energy of almost like the dark matter and the dark energy in the universe, like those mysterious parts that we don't know yet. You kind of carry that energy with you, but there's a hardcore kind of energy with you as well that others pick up. They definitely see you as somebody who's very like on the grind, like you're putting your work in, and even if you're just kind of posted up, like they don't think that you're loitering really. They think that you must be holding the scene down. There must be a reason, right? You always seem like you're kind of making money even if you're not, kind of thing. and people definitely feel that energy, like that you come connected to a whole bunch of other people, that you're part of a set family. I don't know, maybe you got a little mafia family or something, a little mob, but that you might be known like that, like you're oh, like they hear your name and they're like, oh, you're from that family. Oh, okay, y'all kind of crazy. But I feel like, yeah, and even at work, it's so funny. I'm seeing like if someone that's not from like your division comes into your division, you're just kind of like, why are you here? Okay, give me the paperwork. No, I'll handle it. We don't need you back here in our business. Like you're protective of your like area. You're kind of a little territorial. Like this is okay, right? And if we have business, then we have business. And if we don't, why are we talking? Move along. Yeah, so you don't really suffer fools, is how others see you. And people definitely don't, like, they see that you're not foolish. They feel like they couldn't hoodwink you or anything like that. That you would be like, get out of here with that. Like, get out of here with that. People also might see, again, there's that kind of localized energy with you. They might see you as somebody who, like, you never go too far from home or from family. They don't really see you as someone who's, like, out traveling the world or anything like that. When this is again first impressions, but people like that. Again, there's that feeling where you're like, man, I know you're from BK, you're from, like, I know where you're from, you carry that energy, you're proud of that energy, like, you rep it, like Minnesota, yeah. You know, and so that's cool for people. They feel like it's authentic, that you connect with that, and that you have roots. And even if it comes with burdens, or if it comes with like kind of that small town feel where like everyone knows your business inside your crew or your town or whatever, even if it comes with some of those dynamics, that you will work with them because you feel enriched by that kind of life. And that I think people appreciate that. They feel like you're connected, that you must have a big family, that you must have like a community that you're really connected to. And so even though they can tell that maybe you seem kind of like overworked, or like again like you're really grinding, or even a bit exhausted sometimes to people, you also seem very fulfilled to people, is how they perceive you. That you don't need to be rushing off to every random thing. Like you're a loyal person that's very committed to what you do, even though they're not sure what that is, and they might kind of make up things about what they think that is. You also could have that energy though, because people don't know what you do. They might also like make up some complete craziness. Like you might have like little urban legends about yourself, and you're like, really, I did all that? Because I was pretty sure I was just chilling on the stoop, but okay, I guess I must have went and did all that. So there is kind of that energy where someone might be like, oh, I saw so and so, and we were just at the store, but I think what I saw was, so I feel like it can kind of get around, but not too much, because people, I mean, I do feel like people are low-key kind of afraid of you guys, like whether you intend it or not. You might have like the sweetest chart, but something about your rising sign or some kind of energy you put off, or maybe it is just that family. Maybe they know you got like a lot of uncles or something that would beat them up or something, but there's this energy like, no, don't mess with them. There's gonna be a whole lot of problems. Like I feel like you're very chill when you meet people though. Like you're very put together, you're very chill, and you're like, again, it's kind of like, do we have business? And if is there a problem? So it's not, you're not out there crazy and hype. Like obviously you have your own life, and that your things, that your investments and the things that you're doing, and you're not about to like get all that crazy off of someone you don't even know. But if they're gonna introduce a situation, then you're gonna evaluate that and react and respond accordingly. So people kind of see that kind of, some of you kind of old school like that. You have this kind of old school vibe. And that could be it too, where you seem wise beyond your years. Let's see, I'm seeing a lot of fair skin, even if you are from, a race or ethnic group that has darker skin, the idea of it, you might be very fair skinned, and whatever you are mixed with or embodying. Let's see. I also feel like a lot of you are very simple in your clothing. Like you might, you might be a hard worker and it shows. Maybe you have, clothes, you're like, well, we're moving furniture or whatever. I do feel like even, I don't know, I feel like this energy, like some of you, like you are more well off than you dress like. And because sometimes maybe you are helping people, you're out doing things, and so you're not wearing your, fancy clothes or whatever while you're out doing that. And I feel like people see you though, even when you're like in ripped t-shirt, all dirtied up or whatever, if you get to that point where while you're out working in the garden or helping move stuff, people still see you as someone who probably, like, people, like, you can't really hide it. If you do have money, people know, like, they expect it. They're like, you know what, I bet they have money. I bet they're one of those rich people who don't dress like they're rich. Like they're a box of chocolates, right? Oh, let's look at some of the things on here. Change itself can be difficult and even traumatic, but remember that we are currently enjoying a very spiritual and karmic time of our human existence. Live in the now, count your blessings, and think positively. The wheel of fate is ever turning. So yeah, again, that change, that turning, like you can handle anything that's brought to you. You know how to think quick on your feet. Although change in a dramatic sense outside of your box, I think is something that if it wasn't a plan, if it wasn't your long-term game plan, then it throws you off. Like then it would throw you off. I don't think that people perceive you as rolling with change like that. But if it's within the realms of things that you've thought of, like then you're good. People definitely see you as having long-term game plans. Like you don't get swayed by obstacles. They might feel like you're very persistent. So this is all first impressions, but this is the energy that they get. Like you're gonna handle something, you might just have like this willpower that to you're like, well, of course, if they're not letting me go in the line and they're telling me I can't get what I need to get, of course I'm gonna go and pursue and make sure that I can get what I need. But to others, like this is like, whoa, okay, like it's not just natural for everyone, so it impresses them. What else do we have here? I do feel like a lot of people in this group might be a little bit shorter, and you might be some of you are a bit stocky or solid. You might have a broad shoulders or chest, and these are things that people appreciate and they like. Or you just look like you can handle I don't know if some of you are wrestlers. I don't know why I'm getting that, but maybe people are like, oh, they got a wrestler's build. For those who it would apply with your body type. But I think that other people, like, you feel like you're kind of grounded. You have a grounded energy to you, a very like a sturdy feel to you. It's not really about your weight, so I don't want anyone to get upset about like weight or anything, but it's more just like you have this very solid, grounded, near to the earth center of gravity about you. Even if you're tall and lanky or whatever your weight is, like you have this kind of thing. And people might forget, like you might be someone who people are like, oh wow, you're that tall. You're like, yes, you say that every time, but people for some reason will think that you're a little bit shorter or something. Maybe you hunch over a little bit, or you're just chilling. You might have your own little cool posture that you do, so people don't really know. Let's see. And a lot of you will have short hair. I can't remember if I said that already. I do see a variety of hair colors actually, but I think a lot of you are medium brunette into dark colored hair. I feel like a lot of you also have very fit legs. I'm seeing that. And your shoe games. Okay, so a lot of you have some kind of shoe game that others notice. Like you might rock something that people don't expect. They're like, whoa, you over here in boots? Like, okay, I didn't expect you would do that. Or some of you are really about your sneakers, or whatever you have, your red bottoms, or whatever you do. Or you might just keep your stuff very, very clean, but there's something about your shoes that people notice and pay attention to, and they think that that's kind of important to you. But I'm seeing like pretty much, even if you wear bright colors, it's somehow you wear like subdued bright colors. I feel like there's a lot of neutral colors in your clothing game, and nothing too wild, nothing too over the top. You might dress in different layers, like as far as like he has a t-shirt over long sleeves, or you might wear like a dress with the leggings, or like, you know, maybe other people wouldn't wear that many layers, but you do. You might have like the vest, like a hoodie with the vest with the coat on or something, you know what I mean? Like you got your little style, you got a few beanies doubled up or something. Like, I don't know, you the way you layer things is something that people notice as well. So, but people think you got money. They think you're on a good path. They might see, they definitely notice if you do have like low key, like you might even be dressed down, but then you got that expensive watch on or something. So you have telling signs that you, could have good taste or have a little bit high quality to yourself, and people appreciate that. So that is what I'm picking up for those of you who chose number 3. Go easy on them. Go easy on the fools out here. No. But yeah, that was fun. This was just like a fun energy because I just love this song anyway. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like I know people whose energy fits like that. And I was like, oh shoot, they would be watching this reading. Cool. Took some time off the block to come watch the pick a card. So I hope you guys like it. Comment down below the bits that resonate with you, or what you think, or you know, your feedback, and I will talk to you soon. We have, for those of you who chose number 4, we have the Honey Calcite. Let's see, we have Personal Growth reversed, Romance reversed, Ain't Too Proud to Beg by the Temptations, the Devil card, the Magician reversed, the 9 of Pentacles, the 4 of Pentacles, I'll fix all these in a second, the Hermit in the Oracle, not in the Tarot reverse, in the Archetype deck, and Martyr. You guys have a very interesting energy, and this group was getting a lot of shade. I gotta admit, what was channeling in when I was pulling these cards was getting a lot of shade, because a lot of you guys have kind of that mean girls energy, or you know, mean person energy, where it's like it's like there's like all this overabundance of pink, and then but then you have like this card with like a lot of dark colors on it, with like the Magician reversed and the Devil. So some of you either dress like you're from The Cure or something, and then you're like sickening sweet, or it's like oh, you know what it's like, you know, Umbridge. This is horrible, I'm sorry to compare anyone to Umbridge, but you know how like she's like they switched up her as the villain, because she's like likes kittens and paints everything pink and is always wearing bows and pink, right, in Harry Potter, but then she's like as evil as Voldemort. So people see you as like being very sugar and spice, and they see you as being very like, I don't know, like on one side there's like this martyr and this codependency kind of energy of ain't too proud to beg, and like wanting people to like you, and like people sense like like maybe an immaturity, or like an overly focusing on romance, or trying to attract people, and like, am I pretty, like, you know, needing this kind of attention. And then on the other side though, people feel like this interior that's a little more steely, that you're kind of playing them all and playing everybody, and you really don't like any of them. You don't like any of them. So a lot of you could definitely have Libra rising, because I've seen Libra risings work people like that. A lot of celebrities have Libra risings, and so when you want, you can throw out that energy like, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm just dainty and breezy, and aren't I pretty, and aren't I good relationship material, and then you could flip it on them, right, and then be a whole world of hell to them. The same with Taurus risings, actually, because Taurus risings have Scorpio on the descendant, and they are very, very much like that. Taurus risings, y'all crazy behind the scenes, and then, but you know, everyone doesn't realize that at first, but here people are picking up on it. They're picking up on it. You could also have Virgo and Pisces on this ascendant, either one, because that's the kind of martyr access, and the Hermit is here as well. So yeah, it's weird. People feel like you will want their attention a lot. Even if you're doing that thing where you're like, I don't care about your attention, they feel like you're doing it in the I don't care because I do care that I want your attention kind of thing. So there's a strange polarity. It's also reminding me of like the movie Grease. I don't know, like the good girl that's going to the bad girl, or the bad girl who's wanting to become more of the good girl, but it's like where there's blurred lines and it's kind of weird. Yes, the devil card with the magician reverse. So people they don't really see you as someone who's trustworthy. Some of you have like that Gemini rising energy, and I've every time that I'm seeing talking to people about people with Gemini rising, quite often people don't trust them. They feel like it's like the salesman, that slick salesman energy, you know? They might be like, oh, they're funny, like they're entertaining, they're witty, but I feel like that is something that Gemini risings have to struggle with, is if they want to have people perceive them as being authentic and stuff, because people just see that Gemini rising and they're like, ooh, I don't trust this person. Like it's, you know, there it's so much going on, it's so mercurial, it's so in the air and all over the place. And I feel like people feel like that. They're like, are you trying to game me? Like, are you like, what's your motive? Like, what are you about? People think that you're kind of about your business, and that even when you're sweet talking them and things, that they don't know why you're doing that. So we have the Hermit reversed, withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgments from others, refusing to help those in need, and learning the transcendent nature of others, of service to others. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. But then we have that with personal growth reversed and romance reversed. So, yeah, I feel like people think this, like they might see that you're in the middle of that. Maybe you like catch yourself and you like start talking about yourself more, and then you like are like, oh shoot, oh, how are you doing? You know, so maybe you might have Leo moon. Um, it's a, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like that manic pixie energy too. Yeah, so people, it's like Sour Patch Kids, right? People are like, why are you being nice to me? And are you going to be mean to me shortly? What's going on? Are you trying to hoodwink me? Do you even really care? Like, what's the motive here? Because I'm pretty sure you don't actually like me or want to be around me, but you want me to like you and think you're super, super awesome. And actually, everyone that I know that fits this kind of energy, like are a lot of them have Libra in their chart, with like Scorpio or Libra, Virgo, especially mixtures like that, where they will like go to the parties and do this stuff and like want to do things in the community a little bit, but then really behind the scenes, like they don't like anybody. They don't like anybody at all. And so there's that kind of vibe as well. I do see some similarities between a few of these readings, and I've re-recorded this many times, so I think some of you might have picked more than one group and might resonate like with group one, that had some of those qualities as well. I do see Capricornian energy here as well as Virgo as well. So yeah, but it's like one minute you, even within the same conversation, when people meet you, part of you is like just begging for attention and things, and part of you is like, I don't give a fuck. Aries can actually really be like that too. Aries can really be like that, let's be honest. So looks wise, let's see, I feel like you guys are you like to push, you like to have edginess to you, you like to mix, again, like part of things, something that seems like very demure or sweet, with something that's provocative or like jarring to others, or like a little bit dangerous looking, and just push the envelope. So you kind of mix it up together. I also feel like you guys wear a lot of different styles actually, and you know, you can go from being semi-dramatic to like very dramatic when you want to. I think a lot of it is honestly dependent on your pocketbook at the time and like what modes that you're in. Now, some of you really go to a lot of work to make people kind of reject you, but I feel like it's very seen. I think that's why. I feel like people think it's aesthetic. Like, so if you're like, oh no, like I'm deep, I'm not like that at all, people are like, oh, so you're like emo, okay, you know. So it's like people see it as seen, and I think that's why we have this like martyr and like, oh, that's cute, okay, you know, yeah, we did that in high school. And so people just have that vibe about you, whether that's true or not. And that's why they're like, but this is attraction, they're attracted to this, so they might think it's cute that you try so hard to be emo, or like, oh, you're being goth too, and you might like be like, stop it, I'm a real goth, guys. And all the other goth kids are like, oh, you're so cute being goth. And you're just like, dang it. So it's like you want their approval, but then you're like, screw you. too at the same time. And people just think that that's cute and attractive. And they're like, you're kind of crazy. You're a little off kilter. Like, I don't know if you're going to hug me or stab me, but I dig it. So this is just like, this is such a unique energy to, like, I've never gotten these kind of cards and this color scheme here with this like black and pink in a reading. And some of you it's like black and red that you rock. Let's see. But I do feel like people are sensing that you are trying to better yourself. There's that kind of energy where you're like, I can tell that you've probably been a meaner person than you are right now. So I'm going to be nice that you're snapping on me about something small. And I don't really know you, person. This is, I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go. So this is like, and with the Magician reverse and the Devil card, yes, you like to, there's a little bit entrapment here. Some people, okay, I'm gonna be honest, some people see you as a gold digger. I'm gonna be honest. Some of you have that. Some of you are like, ooh, I just got told on. They're like, yes, that's what this is. Some of you are getting fancied up. Some of you have had some beautification done and things of that nature, or are really into cosmetics, and people are like, okay, what are you trying to reel me in over here? What are you doing? So take whatever spectrum of that relates to you. You might just see little bits and be like, yeah, I kind of do that sometimes. And some of you, you're like hardcore out here about that business, working people, and you don't even care. So let's see. But yeah, people feel like once like you might decide I'm gonna be around you socially, and then like they're just like, oh, and like somehow you get them stuck in doing it. I think there's a lot of people from like high school and college that are watching this, because this is very like school dynamics where you end up just always being around that person, and suddenly you're like kind of in their clique now, or like considered a fan, or like a supporter of them, and you don't really know how that happened, but they just kind of decided it and now it's happening. So I feel like you have that vibe with people where, you know, they might walk into a room and you start giving them things to do and all this, and they're like, I don't even, who are you? I don't even know you. So some of you have that kind of vibe where people might feel like you have a bit of privilege to you, or that you you know, expect others to kind of wait or dine on you a bit. But at the same time, there's that energy where you do, like, you give to other, like you do things for others as well. Like you'll do things and you'll do nice things and you'll sacrifice, but people just don't know why. Why are you doing that at this time? Because it seems like there's a different motive. So I don't know, you're kind of like a wild ride to people. They don't know what to expect, but they think it's quite fun to watch you kind of go from 0 to 100. I feel like you're definitely someone that people would be like, oh, look, that person's getting so mad, but they look so cute when they're mad, or, you know, that kind of thing. Like your energies are very mixed. Like your sweet and salty, your sweet and sour are always like running back and forth past each other, and intermixing, you know what I mean? So when everyone else is very bubbly, you might want to go like all cynical. And when everyone else is being cynical, you want to go and be bubbly, and like, you know, so it's just like this off-kilter kind of wonky energy that people sense. Okay, so yes, a lot of people have short hair. I feel like you keep it very, you know, well, you probably keep up with your haircuts and things like that. Everything's lined up and you got it, you know, shorn and taken care of. Let's see. I'm seeing a lot with your arms, so maybe some of you have very fit arms, or you like gesture a lot with your, like your hands and your arms when you talk and you communicate, and people like that. It might sound weird, but if you watch like readings, people will say things like that, like, oh, I like your hands, I like your arms, I like how you talk, or, you know, to people. So I feel like that's how people are with you as well. You might, some of you are self-conscious of that, and you like, when you notice someone looking, you'll kind of hold your arms to yourself, but I think people actually really like that somehow. Maybe it seems graceful to them, or maybe they just think like you talk cool or something. You got some cool arm movements. Like, I don't know, it's just like your gestures to people. Like they like them. It just seems like, oh, that's cute how they like how you maneuver yourself. Like, have you ever thought about how like you could have like this gorgeous body that's an amazing quirky body that people love, but if you were to put a different soul in it, like that body would look different, even if you didn't change anything on it, just because how the other soul uses the body, right? And how they embody it, literally. No pun intended, but hey. So I feel like that's how it is with you. Like people like how you work yourself. Even though those of you that don't consider yourself to be like too dolled up, or like you feel like, well, I don't have any really outstanding features, you just have this way of like embodying yourself. And I think if you want to go for a style, you really go for it. You really, like, if you're going to go for a trend, you go really into a trend. If you're going to reject a trend, you really reject it. Like you really get into like your particular look that you're putting together, or like, you know, just your own style that you have. It reminds me of when I was in LA, there was this girl that would always get on the bus over by, like, I live near the college, and people would, like, she was just kind of known, and she always had her hair up into these puffy buns, and the puffy buns were pink on the top, like this pretty frosty pink, and then they were like blonde under, and she always had the cutest little outfits. But that was just like, it was her look. It was, she just had like this whole complete little style, almost like she was like this little character, you know. And some of you are definitely like that, like you have your own character. Some of you might even be kind of tired of it now, because you're like, dang, I've been like the, you know, cool guy in black for forever now. It's like Johnny Cash, like, can I wear a different color? I can't even. I ruin my reputation now. Like, my look is set. I can't just change it up now. But yeah, I don't know. People think you're cool. You're cool and sweet, and you know what? You're scary spice. That's what's you're scary spice. Yes, I think you're all the spices thrown into the mix. So that is your reading. You're a smooth talker too. I mean, people are onto it, so you're not as smooth as you think, but you can talk people into doing some dangerous things or get them into trouble. Yes. All right, so let me know how this resonated with you. This was a fun reading. I hope you had fun, and you know, take the parts that were for you. We're reading for a spectrum of people, so there will be all different amounts of how this connects, and this is others' perception of you. So if there's something you don't like, I like doing these readings because then we can be aware of it and take control of our own energy and make sure that we are being presented and represented the way that we want to be. Not that we can always change people's opinions, but we can be much more empowered. Like, oh shoot, that does sound like how people would react to a Scorpio rising. Let me see how I want to use my energy. So I hope that's how everyone can take this reading and have some fun and have some compliments throughout this quirky reading. So comment down below. Please subscribe, share, like. I appreciate your donations and support, and connecting with you guys is so great. And I will talk to you soon.